Hi and welcome to Real Talk. In this first episode, I will be talking about Athadu. On the surface, it's a slick crime thriller with action packed fight sequences and clever twists and turns. But here's the thing beneath all that style, Athadu is really a story about belonging, about how an assassin pretending to be someone else finally finds a family of his own. The very first scene really sets the tone. A boy serving tea to a mafia don, and then boom, he shoots a man dead. Right away, we see Nandu as a cold blooded killer. But here's the thing he's not entirely heartless. Throughout the film, he quietly shows empathy. For example, the first time someone treats his wounds and feeds him, he breaks down because he's never experienced that kind of motherly care. In this particular sequence, the camera stays in a close up on his face, and the way in which this shot is framed lets us see his emotions breaking through that assassin mask. Another example would be when he immerses Parthu's ashes. He admits that Parthu gave him a home, a family, love, and yet he couldn't even offer him a cup of coffee in return. These are small moments, yet they carry so much weight. They make you wonder is Nandu really just running from the police, or is he also running from the emptiness of having no family, no one to really belong to? What makes Aturu brilliant is the way emotions are layered with sharp, meticulous writing. Take one scene, for example. The grandfather tells Nandu about how a bullet once misfired because a small stone got stuck inside the gun while cleaning it. In the very next shot, we see kids counting marbles and notice one is missing. The camera then cuts to the gun and lingers on it for a moment, hinting that the missing marble is inside. At first, it feels like a small detail, almost unnecessary. But when the villain later grabs that very same gun during the climax and tries to shoot Nandu, it backfires, and a marble rolls out. That isn't just a stylish choice, it's classic foreshadowing, reinforced visually so the audience can connect the dots. Throughout the film, several suspenseful moments are crafted with the same intelligence. One great example is the scene where the CBI officer tries to secretly take Nandu's fingerprint using his visiting card. Nandu plays along and, with calculated ease, retrieves the card. Once the officers leave, he blows off the talcum powder and crushes it. He knew their plan the whole time. Athadu could have easily been a routine serious thriller, but the comedy, that's what makes it unique. A lot of that humor comes straight from the characters, especially the chaotic dynamic between Nandu and Puri. Puri is mischievous and confident, the perfect contrast to Nandu's calm, composed, borderline emotionless nature. Their chemistry is playful, sometimes even brutal. My favorite moment is when Nandu teases her nose, saying it looks dented, like as if someone had punched it. Seconds later, a cracked mirror reflects her nose all distorted. This is a perfect example of dialogue working with mise-en-scène, which is basically everything we see in the frame, like props, actors, and their positioning. And of course, the action. It's the kind of fight choreography that doesn't just impress, it sticks in your memory long after the scene ends. Who can forget the fight where Nandu ends by punching straight through a stone pillar and walking away as it collapses behind him? That's just peak effortless style. But personally, I think the real magic of Ataru isn't in the fights or the twists, though the final twist would definitely shock first time viewers. The heart of the film is in Nandu's arc. When he finally kneels before the grandfather, it mirrors their very first meeting. Back then, it was hesitation and deception. He was pretending to be Parthu. Now it's vulnerability and shame. What was once a lie is now the truth, and he's finally ready to be seen for who he really is. And instead of rejection, the grandfather accepts him. This is a great example of visual mirroring, when a later scene reflects an earlier one, but with completely different emotional meaning. That's the emotional resolution. A man who spent his whole life killing for money finally finding a place where he doesn't have to hide. And that's it for this episode of Real Talk. Thanks for watching.